Welcome to Technically You, the podcast where we decode the latest in technology and cybersecurity. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a nasty botnet that's been quietly spreading and growing stronger. RapperBot.
Yeah, don't let the name fool you. RapperBot isn't some cool AI music tool or a song you can stream on Spotify. It's a malware strain that's been targeting Linux servers, IoT devices, and even home routers since 2022. What makes it stand out is that it focuses heavily on brute-forcing SSH logins to gain persistence and spread.
So let's start with a quick definition. RapperBot is a botnet malware family that first showed up in June 2022. Initially, it was thought to be just another offshoot of the infamous Mirai botnet, which was behind some of the biggest DDoS attacks in history. But researchers quickly realized this wasn't just another copycat.
Right. Instead of mainly targeting Telnet like Mirai, RapperBot goes straight for SSH, Secure Shell, the protocol administrators use to remotely log into Linux servers and devices. It basically brute forces weak or default SSH credentials until it finds a way in.
Once it gains access, RapperBot doesn't just move on. It actually modifies the device to maintain persistence.
Exactly. It can add its own SSH keys into the authorized keys file, meaning attackers can come back whenever they want. Modify init scripts so the malware survives reboots, and even disable competing malware to keep the system for itself.
That is scary. And once that's done, the infected device reports back to a command and control C2 server. From there, attackers can issue commands like launching a DDoS attack, brute-forcing new targets, or downloading updates to the malware itself.
What is even more scarier is how quickly RapperBot is evolving. Researchers saw early versions focused only on brute-forcing SSH. Later versions added persistence and more stealth techniques. Some builds included custom binary downloaders to bypass firewalls. And recently, RapperBot has been actively updated every few weeks, making detection harder.
It's basically malware on a DevOps schedule, constantly iterating.
So why should the average business or IT admin care? Well, because RapperBot can turn almost anything into part of a botnet army. That includes enterprise Linux servers, cloud VMs, small business routers, and even consumer IoT devices like security cameras.
And once a device is recruited, it can be used in DDoS-for-hire attacks, sometimes called booter or stressor services. Criminals literally rent out these botnets to overwhelm websites, gaming servers, or even financial institutions.
On top of that, if RapperBot compromises your infrastructure, you could be unknowingly helping fuel cybercrime while also exposing your own internal systems.
Now, let's go a bit deeper for our technical listeners. RapperBot primarily uses brute force SSH credential stuffing. That means attackers try large dictionaries of username-password combos against SSH servers.
Once successful, it adds persistence with SSH keys and then communicates with its C2 over TCP. Some variants even use proprietary binary protocols instead of plain text to avoid detection.
The malware itself is written in C, small in size, and compiled for multiple architectures like ARM, MIPS, and x86, meaning it can run on everything from home routers to enterprise-grade servers.
Some ISPs have reported spikes in unusual SSH traffic tied back to RapperBot campaigns. In some cases, entire fleets of routers were enslaved in DDoS botnets.
And it's not just about DDoS. With persistent SSH access, attackers could use infected devices to exfiltrate data, proxy attacks, or even deploy ransomware later.
Think about it. If your router or server is compromised at the SSH level, that's like giving an attacker the keys to your castle.
Okay, so let's talk defense. How can businesses and individuals protect themselves?
First, disable password-based SSH logins. Use SSH key authentication only. Keys are exponentially harder to brute force.
Second, restrict SSH access. Don't leave it open to the whole internet. Use firewalls, VPN tunnels, or only allow specific trusted IP addresses.
Third, change all default device passwords, especially on routers and IoT devices.
And finally, monitor your SSH logs. If you see tons of failed login attempts or new keys being added, that's a red flag.
RapperBot is a perfect example of how malware is evolving. Instead of flashy ransomware or phishing, it's about quiet persistence and large-scale control.
It's also a reminder that the basics, like patching, strong authentication, and monitoring, are still the best defenses.
Botnets like RapperBot thrive on negligence. Close those gaps, and you dramatically lower your risk.
What's a wrap on RapperBot? It may sound like something out of a sci-fi novel, but it's very real and actively targeting exposed systems right now.
If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share, and drop us a comment. Have you seen SSH brute force attempts in your logs? We'd love to hear your stories.
Until next time, stay patched, stay secure, and remember, hackers only need one weakness, but we defenders have a whole toolbox to fight back.